first top 20 reverse grid race of this new season. Is going to be a very different challenge to what we used to see in the F3 Cup days, and it will be Matt Trumpets starting on pole position for this one ahead of Charlie Pouillet. He's been thrown in at the deep end his first weekend in this championship. James Gill and Colin Ward start on the second row of the grid ahead of Lucas Raskowitz and David Hatton, our Formula Renault Challenge champion. Jose O'Donnell and John Langan start on row 4, then Ryan Sedgwick and Richard Spanners ready. Then comes Alex Van Gien, Alex Smith, Mark Greenhouse, Sam Harper, Alexander Dobertsberger starting in 15th after his mistake in race 1. Tim Ellis, Gregoire Gomez, Alex Jonesworth, Carl Power and Danny Henney. That is the top 20 for this first reverse grid race of the season. All eyes now turn towards the lights as we're about to get underway for race number 2 at the Nurburgring. It's lights out for the second time tonight, and Trumpets gets a very good start indeed. Charlie Pouillet getting a lot of wheel spin indeed. He's being flooded by the pack already, and Colin Ward has gone straight up into second place as well in that familiar Rothmans-Williams car. Could he be in with a shout at moving forward as we see the spin there? And I think that is Charlie Pouillet, who has been spun around at the first corner. Disaster start for him. Everybody else seems to have made it safely through the first few corners, and it's Matt Trumpets that leads by just a few tenths of a second to Colin Ward there, as we see Jose O'Donnell mounting the pressure on Ward for second place. David Hatton has emerged in fourth place as well. Then comes Lucas Raskowitz, and looking down to see where our front runners from the first race were, and I think they may have been caught up in some shenanigans, because I see Kyle Power all the way down in 26th place, and I can't see Danny Henney at all. So hopefully we'll catch up with them a little bit later, but in the meantime, that is the top 3 rising up the hill through the Schumacher S for the first time in this race. Trumpets with a slightly healthy margin going on to the straight for the first time, but Colin Ward's got to keep an eye on his mirrors here, because Jose O'Donnell is within striking distance, although Ward with a very good run onto the straight. And we see in the background Hatton and Raskowitz running strong there, as well as O'Donnell closes up on the straight towards Colin Ward for second place. A very nice run through the chicane here. Can he get a bit of momentum towards the final corner? Not quite. He'll get a nice little up and under here at the final corner as Trumpets comes across the line to end lap 1, almost a second clear of Colin Ward, who is hugging the middle of the track here, trying to defend against Jose O'Donnell, who moves to the outside line, riding on board with him now towards the first corner. Into the hairpin we go, and Ward just about hanging on to the spot, but makes a bit of a mistake there on the exit of the corner. Through goes O'Donnell, and through goes Hatton as well into third place. Now, we haven't seen the Beast car up in this sort of position for a while. Didn't contend the F3 Cup last season, did David Hatton, but of course won our Formula Renault 2.0 challenge a few seasons ago, and he's now up in third place as Ward now comes under a bit of pressure from Lucas Raskowitz, a former class champion in the F3 Cup as well. Now, I mentioned our front runners from the first race. I can confirm that Danny Henney has got away well. He's in 14th place with Alex Dobertsberger, but it does seem to have been a bit of a disaster for Carl Power, who's still outside of the top 20. Here is Henney now. He's line astern with Dobertsberger and Gomez. These two going wheel to wheel once again out of the hairpin. Dobertsberger there trying to line up John Langan as they rise up through the Schumacher S. I think Langan just got it a bit wrong, and Henney has to go across the grass to try and avoid that. A big moment there for the 3-time champion, and he's plummeted down the order now into 17th place because of that mistake from John Langan that he had to try and avoid, and he now rounds up the gold class car as well now, so Henney up into 16th, but a big moment there for Danny Henney. And there we see Kyle Power just in the back shot there. He's actually not that far behind at all. There's a bit of contact being made there between Daniel Cook and John Langan. There is Power as well, and he's now trying to round up Langan as well out of the chicane. But wow, an awful lot of drama further down the order for our race 1 winners, as we ride on board with Power now down the straight, looking to get ahead of John Langan and into 19th position. Up on the inside into the first corner. Langan will probably go a little bit wide here, but keeps his foot nicely planted in it. And just able to hang off Power for now. And, this is what we're talking about, struggling to get through the pack here. So our top two from the last race got split apart, got close up together again. Now they're being pushed apart again, as we see Henny was just going into the corner while Power was making his way down the straight, but round the outside here, finally gets the line into the next right-hander, and this should be 19th place for Kyle Power now as he heads towards the Dunlop hairpin. Langan not giving this up without a fight though, trying to go all the way around the outside, but I think he will have to concede eventually, and does indeed. Now we see Trumpets making his way down the straight, very close with Jose O'Donnell here. O'Donnell is closing right up to our race leader, and of course this is for the gold class points as well. Trumpets now being promoted into the gold class, and a mistake there. He went up tight over the chicane. Is this an opportunity for O'Donnell? He goes clean through before they get to the final corner. A costly error there from Matt Trumpets at the chicane, and Jose O'Donnell goes through into the lead at the end of lap 3. And here comes David Hatton as well now to try and take second place away from Trumpets. He's got an awful lot of momentum, probably using the DRS there. A lunge up the inside as well for the Monster Energy car. And Hatton goes through into second place. So Trumpets, having started on reverse grid pole and led the early stages of this race, starting to come under a bit of pressure now as Colin Ward and Lucas Raskovitz are the next two cars behind him. And we see just slightly further down the order, we've got Richard Spanners ready and Scott Tuffy and Danny Henny having a bit of a squabble here. This is all for 12th position. Gregoire Gomez has made his way through on these guys already, but Spanners leading this trio of cars here in 12th place. Stuffy trying to get in amongst that, and Henny trying to make his way through, having started down in 20th in this reverse grid race. Around the Dunlop hairpin once again. Remember, these races much shorter than the feature race, only 11 laps compared to 17, much less opportunity to try and make the moves, but much more intense action and more opportunity to utilise the DRS as well. Actually, still 8 uses for the race, doesn't matter what the length of the race is, they still get the 8 uses of it. Now, is any of them going to be using it here coming down the straight? Spanners leading the trio of cars towards the chicane. No look from either Stuffy or Henny, but Henny getting right up on the rear wing of Scott Tuffy under braking for that chicane. And I think they're actually closing in on Ryan Cedric ahead of them as well, the silver class car. Here's Henny making his way down the straight right in the switching. They're definitely closing up to Ryan Cedric because Spanners, I think, is about to make a move. On board with Henny now as Stuffy has a look towards the inside. Spanners going the long way around to the first corner. No change of position, though, as we saw some very different lines being taken through that first corner. But we've got 2 panel members going toe-to-toe here with our 3-time champion. Heading towards turn 5 once again, and now this is most definitely a 4-car train, the silver class driver of Ryan Cedric, who's been very prolific in our karting events as well, and not least a week ago in Brighton. And Spanners right on the gearbox of Cedric here, coming through the Dunlop hairpin. You see Gomez just in the front of shot there, making a position as well on James Gill, or attempting to anyway. On board with Spanners now as they rise up the hill, and he's got Stuffy in very close proximity as well. He looks towards the inside at the top of the hill of turn 11. Cedric leaves him some space. They both run off the circuit, and both Stuffy and Henny go through. And Cedric just letting Spanners through there, I think, on the outside. And of course, look who's now right behind Mr. Spanners ready. It's Sam Swallow. And I think these two have probably gone toe-to-toe in our endurance races at times as well. And Swallow trying to get around the outside. Spanners was really pincered up onto the curb there, really having to take avoiding action to not make contact with Swallow. That was a robust but fantastic move on Spanners, opportunistic, and there we see Henny in 12th place there, now trying to make the move on Scott Tuffy on the inside. We just caught it at the front of shot, and now towards the inside, but they've got the James Gill car right in front of them as well. That's the old Vodafone McLaren liveried car that Gomez has just made his way past on as well. Henny trying to get up on the inside here as Stuffy into turn 3. Stuffy will have the line into the next corner. But Henny manages to go right around the outside, gets the momentum, and he goes through. That is 11th place now for Danny Henny. Meanwhile, Carl Power still only down in 16th place by comparison. Oh, made that 15th actually. He's just made his way past Ryan Sedgwick as well. Leaders gap is now 3.5 seconds, by the way, for what it's worth. Jose O'Donnell leading David Hatton there we can see, who's still only 3/4 of a second or so ahead of Trumpets. And now Ward closing in on that last spot on the podium as well. Sam Harper in 5th, Alex Smith up in 6th place. Raskovitz down to 7th now, actually, as just a bit further down the straight, Danny Henny is about to make his move on James Gill for a position in the top 10. Here it is at the chicane, getting all very bulked up there behind James Gill. Scott Tuffy fancies an opportunity as well. So does Sam Swallow on the outside there of the final corner. But Henny definitely not having it his own way. He's done races in the past where he's up into the top 5 by the end of lap 3. He's definitely having a harder time of it here. Which way does he go now? To the outside of turn 1. James Gill on the inside, defending well. The silver class car keeping the 3-time champion at bay for now. And even going into turn 2, he's still able to just chop the nose of Danny Henny there, the feature race winner. As we see Sam Swallow there trying to get around the outside of Scott Tuffy as well. Can't quite do that, or can he? He just had the line there into the next corner, and he does manage to draw clear of Stuffy there and take 12th place. Brilliant move from Sam Swallow. And Carl Power right on the back of them as well in 14th place, so he's dispatched of Spanners. So we've got 3 of the panel line astern here, with Stuffy leading Power, leading Spanners. Not for much longer. Stuffy trying to get back up the inside of Sam Swallow, and does a cracking job there. And Power trying to take advantage of that as well with the momentum up the hill, the cleaner run out to the exit of the corner. So he's gone through on Swallow. He's now trying to get through on Stuffy as well as they reach the top of the hill at turn 10. Is he going to go all the way around the outside? Surely not. Oh, what a brilliant move by Kyle Power. An absolutely sensational pass to get himself up into 12th place now. And the next car up the road, 9/10 of a second ahead, is Danny Henny. So he's really taken a big opportunity here. And Spanners trying to get 2 in 1 here on the inside of the chicane, but bails out of it at the last corner. Oh, that was ambitious from Spanners, but he thought better of it. Here's Henny now still tucked up behind James Gill, who's doing a sterling job of defending this position, as Henny now in the slipstream once again, and Power's right on his closing in on him as well. Now if there's a sight that's going to make Henny get the hurry up on, it's seeing that green car in his mirrors, and suddenly the top 2 from our last race are nose to tail once again. This is brilliant stuff. James Gill is providing us some of the best action we've seen in Missed Apex iRacing. And Power, oh, he fancied one, and he spun! He's forced an error from Danny Henny, and now Carl Power goes through, and these are the moments that decide championships, because we saw Henny with a difficult start to last season. He wanted to get points on the board early on, and look at that. So he just got caught up by Gill. He was offline. Slightly was he distracted there by Power. Maybe in his mirrors he was trying a different line, looking up the inside, but what a costly error. He's down in 17th, and Kyle Power up into 11th place now, but he's now got to contend with James Gill. I wonder how that's going to fare as we've only got 3 laps remaining after this one. This is absolutely brilliant. Whoever thought these races would be less interesting because we've got a faster car now was absolutely wrong. This is brilliant stuff, and it looks all the more impressive as well with these fantastic machines roaring around this Nurburgring circuit. So Kyle Power now lines up a move here on James Gill for a position in the top 10. I tell you, these positions are being much more hard fought as well. As we just saw in the background there, I think that's Andrew Sexton who had a bit of a spin down at the chicane, but here comes Power right up in the slipstream here. Gill moves to the insider once again, but is it going to be enough? Because Power might well draw clear by the time they get into the braking zone. Not quite. It's very, very close though. Unbelievably tight. If they didn't make contact, I don't know how they didn't, but Kyle Power gets through into 10th place. And there, that's Greg Well Gomez going for a spin in the middle of the Mercedes-Benz arena as well. That's his second mistake in 2 races. So that's another position gain for Power. He's up in 9th place. Here it is for Gomez. Just dropped it on the exit of turn 2. There, probably on the curb. A bit too much steering lock on as he tried to feed in the power, perhaps. But a second error there from Greg Well Gomez, who, as we keep saying, is very fast but prone to errors. And we've seen a second one here. But now Power up into 9th place. Next car up the road is 1.7 seconds ahead of him. It's Lucas Raskowitz, and he's only got 2.5 laps remaining in this race. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Jose O'Donnell is now 4.5 seconds clear of David Hatton in 2nd place. We see Sam Swallow now trying to line up a move on James Gill. Around the outside at the top of the hill, he'll tuck back in and get the better exit here onto the back straight. Maybe even utilise his DRS if he's got any of it left as well. He's certainly within striking distance. Sam Swallow trying to fight for a spot into the top 10 here as Gill once again goes defensive into the chicane. And nothing Sam Swallow can do with that apart from maybe try and get the run on him into the final corner, or maybe even line him up down the pit straight as well. Just Swallow here trying to get the better run out of the corner. I think he did just about. Kyle Power sets the fastest lap of the race. First time he's in clean air. Of course he does. Here comes Sam Swallow now, and it's almost a carbon copy here of what we saw with Kyle Power. And very close around the outside, and Sam Swallow will now have the line into turn 2, and he gets himself up into 10th place. Very nicely done. Battle for 6th place is certainly very intense as well, with well, maybe even 5th place, because Colin Ward's got Alex Smith close behind, but he's got Tim Ellis even closer to him as well. And Ellis really fancied a run into turns 5 and 6, and he fancies a run into the... Oh no, he's just tagged him into the Dunlop hairpin. A costly error there from Tim Ellis. Is that going to be even more places gained for Kyle Power as Smithy goes round and he can't quite make up the spot on Tim Ellis there? But here it is again. He tried to get up the inside into the hairpin. Did he just run a little wide there into Smithy? It looked like it from the initial angle we saw, as we got more cars going off in front of them as well. And so much happening, I can barely even keep up. But I can tell you that Kyle Power has now found himself up in 6th place as a result of those errors from those behind him. And we got Spanners in 11th place trying to get up on Greg Well Gomez and recovering Alex Smith. So 2 drivers in front of him who have had spins. Gomez gets the better run out of the final corner there. We are now on the last lap, by the way. The white flag has been shown to race leader Jose O'Donnell. We've barely seen the top guys in this race. Spanners with a massive lunge completely off the circuit. Way too hot on the brakes. And that was certainly incredibly ambitious. It comes out right in front of Tim Ellis as well. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Not Spanners Ready's proudest moments in this championship. So race leaders on their final lap. We have had a change for the last spot on the podium during all that as well. Sam Harper now finds himself up in 3rd place. So he's got ahead of Matt Trumpets. That is the platinum car. 2 platinum cars actually that found their way onto the podium with David Hatton and Sam Harper, but they were definitely starting a little bit further up in the order. So Jose O'Donnell coming through here. I'm going to check very quickly actually if he has won in the F3 Cup before. He's won one race before, but it'll be his first in the Formula Renault Championship, of course. Only his second win in the Missed Apex iRacing series as well, but he did it in great style. He started in 7th place in this race, forced his way up the grid very, very quickly indeed, and Jose O'Donnell wins the first reverse grid race of the season and takes a brilliant victory there by 4.4 seconds in the end to David Hatton. And Sam Harper comes across the line on the podium as well. Remarkable stuff. And let's see if we can grab a word with our race winner. Jose, we've brought you into the commentary box. I mean, that was a pretty incredible win.
Sorry, say again?
Jose, we brought you into the commentary box. That was a great win.
Oh, thank you. Sure, let's go.
Brilliant stuff. You, 4.4 seconds ahead in the end. Great stuff.
Oh yes, it was entertaining at the start of the race, but after I got the lead, I have to admit it was pretty easy because once we are on clean air, this car is much easier to drive than when you have someone very close on you and you lose all the downforce. So yes, it was a kind of easy race, but I was super nervous at the end.
It was great. At the start in particular was fantastic. You made up so many places.
Yes, there was some slow car there I had to avoid, and then yes, I managed not to run into anyone.
Brilliant stuff. Well, congratulations. Brilliant victory, Jose, and good luck for the final race of the night.
Thanks. Good race. Yes.
Great stuff from Jose O'Donnell. Let's take a look at the results then. Jose O'Donnell takes his second Missed Apex iRacing victory. David Hatton back on the podium again on his return to the championship, and Sam Harper also on his return to the championship, a podium for him. Matt Trumpets, second in the gold class, takes 4th place from pole position. Colin Ward in 5th. Carl Power up to 6th in the end. A very eventful race for him. Sam Swallow up in 7th place, then Gregoire Gomez, and also a very eventful race for him. James Gill, defending champion, there in 9th place with Alex Smith in 10th. Danny Henney, an even more eventful race for him, 11th place. Jonsma and Dobertsberger, Frick Smith, and Ryan Sedgwick and Lucas Raskowitz in 16th place. Then comes the Mark Greenhow and Tim Ellis and Ilsing and Matt Cook will be starting on reverse grid pole for our final race of the night. Scott Tuffy there just missing out on reverse grid pole in 21st place there. How annoying for him, and by less than half a second by the looks of it as well. How annoying for him. And Spanners all the way down in 32nd place in the end after that last lap error there. And Alex Van Gien having an even bigger shocker all the way down in 39th. So we lost a few cars from the feature race as well. And so Van Gien's got it all to do in the last race of the night, which is going to be coming up shortly. So join us in a few minutes' time.